everybody, David Chatham here with Angel Oak Creative. This is another installment, another episode of our Impact interview series. As you may know, we're celebrating 10 years of love and impact at Angel Oak Creative. We're excited about that, and to celebrate that, we're engaging with nonprofits to really focus on impact and what that looks like. And today, we're really grateful to have Monica Pegues here from Mission Triangle. Hey, Monica.
Hey, David.
Hey, thank you so much. Monica is the Associate Program Director at Mission Triangle. And tell us a little bit about yourself. We love some Mission Triangle here at Angel Oak Creative. We have been working with you all in some capacity and just praising you all for years now, for probably the full 10 years, I would guess. So, you know, you've been a big part of our story, and we've really appreciated the way that you help nonprofits. So definitely want to hear about you, and then a little bit about Mission Triangle and the amazing work that you all do. So if you would kind of introduce yourself and maybe just a little bit about Mission Triangle.
Sure, David. Thank you first for having me on today and for highlighting Mission Triangle. Just a little background about me. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Go Pistons, go Tigers, go Lions. And actually came to Carolina in the early 90s for grad school at Carolina. I am a Tar Heel. And so
you shed no tears the other night, I'm guessing.
No, not at all. It was a sweet game. I'll put it that way.
We're referencing Coach K's retirement for those watching.
Yeah, I will say it was a little hard. You know, I felt for him, but yeah, that was one for the books for sure. But yes, went to Carolina, got my MBA there, moved around, met my husband actually there as we were classmates, moved around different opportunities. I have 4 children and really spent a lot of my time as a stay-at-home mom, which I always say is really the last thing we do as stay-at-home moms. But yeah, 4 kids in about 6 years, I think.
Wow.
And but during that time was always involved in the community, in my church, in Bible studies, just doing a lot of different things that, you know, in hindsight, I always think about Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, the plans to prosper you, and to give you a hope in the future, not to harm you. And so, you know, sometimes during those years, you feel like, what am I doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And, you know, especially also having a graduate degree, it's like, is this what I went to school for, to do this? Right. But I will tell you, God wastes nothing. He wastes absolutely nothing. And so, you know, traveled around. We moved back to Raleigh back in 2008. And I would say that's really when the trajectory for me in terms of getting immersed in nonprofits started. I've always, again, been a community, involved in the community, involved in serving. That was something that we would do through our church, through our children's school, through other organizations that I've been involved in. And about 6 years had the opportunity to help start a nonprofit with 9 other women who I knew from our children's school. And what we did was help build capacity for nonprofits in the Triangle area. We served as pro bono consultants. And so we didn't give our money, but we gave our time and our talent. And so did that for a few years. And also during that time, I was able to, I was blessed really with the opportunity to serve on the board of Camp Oak Hill. And that was really my first introduction to Mission Triangle.
Oh, yeah.
And Melinda Delahoy, one of our strategic consultants, came in and did a board governance workshop for us. And I remember sitting there and I said, that would be really cool to do. What Melinda's doing, I think I could do that. And I think that would be a really fun job to do. And just thinking about all the different pieces of what I had done in the past with helping with the nonprofit work we did, volunteering in the community, being on the board. And, you know, so about 1.5 years ago, I started looking to re-enter the workforce. My youngest is 16. And so I thought it was a good time as we've got, you know, pretty much an empty nest. And this opportunity came up. And I remember looking at the job description and kind of highlighting in green what I thought I could do, highlighting in yellow. Yeah, I think I can, but might need a little help. And then a few red lines like, that's not my sweet spot. And, long story short, I've been here almost a year and it
There
has
was a
been.
lot of green. So, well, good. Well, first of all, I can feel the joy and the passion when you're talking about this and that journey to here. So tell me a little bit about Angel. I'm not Angel Oak. I'm with Angel Oak. Tell me a little bit about Mission Triangle and the work that you do and maybe your role there as well.
Sure. So for those who do not know, Mission Triangle, what we do is we come alongside Christian-led nonprofits in the Triangle area to help them expand their kingdom impact. And we serve everyone. I mean, you do not have to be a Christian led organization or faith motivated or faith-based organization to participate in our workshops and trainings. But our niche is taking biblical truths and combining them with business principles. And so what we do is we coach, we consult, we train via our workshops and our small groups on 6 core competency areas: board governance, staff leadership, strategic planning, organizational measurement, transformational fundraising, and marketing and communications.
You saved the best for last.
Yes.
No bias here.
Yes, exactly. And the workshops that we conduct along with the small groups that are deeper dives into those topics are provided at no cost to the nonprofits. And so, it's amazing what we're able to do and how we're able to come alongside those nonprofits in the Triangle area.
Well, I've seen firsthand the impact that you all have on nonprofits, just equipping them to be able to, not only increase their kingdom impact, which is huge, but also their community impact, right? And just really increasing their capacity, increasing their abilities, their skill sets, their confidence even, right? That they can do what they're being tasked to do. What motivates you to do this work? What's your why?
Wow. Great question. I think for me, it's serving really at the core. You think about all the things that are going on in our world and in our nation and even in our homes. We are blessed. We are a blessed nation. And we have the opportunity. I like to say we get to, sometimes people are like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to do that. We have the opportunity. We get to help build capacity for nonprofits. And, you think about the number of nonprofits in North Carolina. North Carolina has about 11,000 nonprofits. The Triangle area has about 3,000 organizations that are designated as 501c3s with revenues over $50,000. And so most of them are small. Most of them do not have the resources, whether it is under-resourced in their staff or volunteers, if they're under-resourced financially, or in a functional area expertise. Maybe they don't have marketing experience, or maybe they're just getting started out and they don't know, what it takes to build the right board for what they need. And so, when you talk about a why, it is the ability to come alongside these nonprofits and really help them. And we startups are not necessarily our sweet spot, but we will help startup nonprofits because we look at that life cycle of a nonprofit, everywhere from startup to possibly defunct. Our goal is to get them right in the middle, which is to maturity, on that timeline of where they are. And so using the 6 core competencies in our trainings, we believe that giving them those business principles helps them. There's this misconception, especially in Christian-led organizations, that, we're just going to trust God and he's going to make a way. And it's like, well, you know what? There's plenty of evidence for planning in the Bible. So why, if God felt it was important to have details and have planning and create a plan, why wouldn't we want to do that in our organizations? And so it's exciting to be able to see that light bulb go off for nonprofits and to say, wow, this really helped. A great example is theory of change. We just did our workshop on organizational measurement, and Hope Reigns is a great example.
Yeah.
Barb Folkrod, who
Yeah.
is at Hope Reigns, we did a little interview with her as part of that workshop. And she told the nonprofits that were at the most recent one, 2 years ago, we were sitting where you were. We did not have a theory of change. And to see them outline that process is amazing. To be able to show, you know what, we really can measure qualitative outcomes like hope and healing. It's a great thing to see and to be a part of.
Yeah, and those outcomes, I mean, I guess that's what we call impact, right? Or at least that's one way to think about impact is what is the impact, what is the outcome that is, the result of the work that we're doing. We were talking a little bit before this just about some of the organizations that you work with and just the global reach of some of the work that we're doing. And sometimes I forget that the impact we're making isn't just on the organization, right? But it's on those that they serve. And
Absolutely.
A lot of these organizations are serving around the world. So, talk about what are some of those barriers or those challenges or those hurdles that nonprofits, especially, well, I won't limit it, but what are some of those barriers and hurdles that nonprofits that you're seeing them face today, whether they're ones that they've faced in the past or whether you think they're newer, kind of challenges that might be, unique to today's environment?
Yeah, so some of what I mentioned earlier, many nonprofits are under-resourced. So whether that's financial, whether that is in the people that they have to, on staff or the volunteers, they might be under-resourced in terms of their operational capacity or having a lack of just kind of basic business knowledge, again, how to set up a board, how to measure your impacts and your outcomes. Marketing and communications, how do you get the word out about what you're doing? Even things as basic as, so you talk about strategic planning, it all has to start with a plan. So, what's your mission? What's your vision? What's your why? What's your niche? And then helping organizations figure out their proven process. What is it that you're doing? How are you doing it? And again, how are you measuring it? And so there's a lot of nonprofits who are under-resourced in that area. The other part of it is that there are just a lot of nonprofits out there who are serving underserved, marginalized communities.
Yeah.
And so, that's one of the focuses of Mission Triangle going forward is really being intentional about, what communities have not been served? What communities have we been missing in our outreach? And what can we do differently to make sure that we are being equitably focused in what we're doing, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve. We're here to serve everyone, and we want to make sure that no one is being left behind in that.
That's great. The under-resourced, I always talk about that there's two almost universal problems among two universal challenges among nonprofits, right? It's budget and capacity. That's I've never heard a nonprofit say we have enough money and we have enough people, right? That's never said. What approach, have you seen that's really helped nonprofits get a handle? You mentioned planning. What are maybe some specific things that you've seen help a nonprofit to make that next step forward, right? To get to the place where they're not, they're able to think forward rather than to think today, right? Because some nonprofits are really just in kind of survival mode, right? They're trying to make sure that they've got their staff paid next month. They're trying to make sure that their services are still running. How can they move from that kind of survival mode to thrive mode where, they are driving the boat, right? They're navigating it and not being led by those fears of of scarcity versus abundance, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to, again, having a plan and following the plan. And, with that is there's a level of trusting, that what you're doing is something that you've been called to do,
Yeah.
knowing that you are making an eternal impact for the kingdom. And so I think that, when you have a nonprofit who, one of the things that we talk about in our strategic planning workshop is so often, God will reveal a need, or something will be shown to someone in the community, and they start doing the work, whether it's providing shoes for children who don't have it, whether it is helping refugees acclimate to a new country because they're fleeing their own, whether it is training immigrants to be able to go back and spread the gospel to their own native lands. Whatever it is, they know this is what I've been called to do,
Yeah.
and they just start doing. And when that happens, I think a lot of times organizations can start to feel overwhelmed and start to feel burdened by the work, because
Yeah.
oftentimes that leader, that founder who is the visionary is just doing. And so that's why it's important to build a team. We were created to be in community with one another. And
That's
so,
right.
if there is an ED or a leader who feels like I can do this on my own, that's a recipe for burnout. We are designed to be in community with one another, and no one is a silo. We all need one another to get the work done that God has called us all to do. And so, helping them take the baby steps. What is your mission? Make sure you're not drifting from that.
Yeah.
Putting in infrastructure and systems and processes so that when someone comes to you and says, we need this or we need that, you can have a document, or you can have something that says, this is what we do, and we are not going to stray outside of that.
Yeah.
And so as you continue to move confidently in the work that God is calling you to do, based on that plan that you've outlined, that
Yeah.
has your mission, that has your vision, that has your niche, that has your proven process, then you don't have to be afraid, so to speak, and have the scarcity mentality. You can say, I'm walking in confidence with what it is God is doing, knowing that He's going to provide. He's going to provide tools. He's going to provide resources. He's going to provide people. But we also have to be smart about that too.
Wow, so much there to unpack. I've seen firsthand the impact that you all make on nonprofits, and how they evolve from, this, to your point, kind of these, from that survival to thrive mode, right? From going to be confident that the work that they're doing is going to be supported. And to your point, those relationships, one of the programs I know that you do is around cohorts of nonprofits coming together to kind of help each other, right? And I
Yes.
love that model of almost a support group approach, and they're sharing their failures and they're sharing their successes. And talk a little bit about the power, the impact of that, right?
Yes, so that's one of our new, and I hesitate to say the word pilot, because our hope is that this will continue into 2023 and beyond. We just launched our cohorts. And so prior to me joining Mission Triangle, we had kind of an informal structure of cohorts. And Jim Dodson, our executive director, is a part of the C12 group, which is a group of Christian businessmen and women who get together. And really, it's designed to help leaders, not just in their business. That's a part of it. How to grow my business? What can I do? How can I share and glean from others to grow my business? Whether it's grow it financially, grow it in scale and scope, whatever. But there's the other part of that is helping with that accountability piece.
Yeah.
Like what does your life look like in certain areas? Are you taking care of yourself physically? So kind of the health and wellness. Where are you spiritually? Where are you with your marriage and your family? And so what we've done here at Mission Triangle has created a similar cohort, and we have two. One is called the Steward Group, and that is made up of some of our nonprofit leaders who have been on the journey with Mission Triangle for a while, are a little further along, more mature organizations. And then we also have the Barnabas cohort, which is the cohort that I'm leading. I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's neat.
It is
And I'm a Barnabas, by the way.
You're the
I am
encourager.
an
I love it.
encourager. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
And
it's not
so
about me, but when you said Barnabas, I just had to smile. So
yeah, so the Barnabas, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage these nonprofits who might be a little smaller or haven't engaged with Mission Triangle in some time. And so what we do is we have a schedule for the year. We meet once a month, and we have a similar balance wheel, I think is what C12 calls it, but we call it the root and fruit tree. And there's a great graphic that we have, but it shows the tree at the top, which is your root system. And so the tree, you can kind of see the roots underneath, but it is, again, where are you with your marriage and family? Where are you with your physical health? Where are you with your spiritual growth?
yeah.
Where are you with your one-on-one time with God? I mean, all of these things. And what the cohort leaders do when they come into our meeting every month is they rate themselves. Like, am I a 1 or am I a 10 or am I somewhere in between?
Oh, wow.
And then they discuss with one another. And of course, everything that is said and shared in the group stays in the group. But I mean, to see them talk about, I'm struggling in this area, because the goal is for us to, again, build community, to have that accountability piece, which, we know we all need. But then we also flip to our 6 core competencies and the business side of it. So where's your organization in terms of strategic planning? Are you behind target? Are you on target? Or are you ahead of target? Or on track, behind track, or on track, or you know what I'm saying? Are you on track? Are you ahead of the game?
Right.
And so, and they rate themselves there, and then we discuss. And then there's also a time where each leader has an opportunity to share an issue that they have going on. Maybe it's a board issue, maybe it's an employee issue, maybe it's a staffing issue, maybe it's an operations issue. And we have 7 in our cohort. So out of the 7, 1 or 2 might rise to the top. Right. And then those other leaders have an opportunity to speak into that challenge that they're having, ask some clarifying questions, helps that leader reframe their issue. But the best part of it is they then give feedback to that leader on what they think they should do. That leader goes away for the month, we break. And then when we come back, there's a reporting that happens.
Oh, that's neat.
So they will report on, that issue. Thank you for this advice. This is where we are. This is what happened. These are the actions I took. And, either it's resolved or it's ongoing. We are better than where we were last month. And the same thing happens with kind of the root system as well. People have a to-do list. So, if I know that I have not been, say I rank myself a 2 in the health and fitness area, I say, you know what, I'm going to commit to working out twice a week between now and the next time we get together. So when the group gets together, that person is going to report back and say, I committed to working out twice a week. I did that for 2 weeks, but I didn't do it for 2 other weeks.
Right.
So it's just, again, it's a great way to share knowledge. It's a great way to encourage accountability and, ultimately create community for these leaders, because as we know, leadership can be a very lonely place. For some of these executive directors. And so the opportunity to bring them together and to be able to share a couple of I think 2 of the people in my cohort are new EDs. And so, to have them going through this together, right, and to be able to share stories and lean on one another is great. And it's great to be a part of.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up here in just a minute, but that's an interesting, I mean, if you think about nonprofits, and we talked about, those 2 challenges of budget and capacity, that often leads to the feeling that you can't take a breath, right? That you can't step back and take a look at at the big picture, that you can't, that you're so focused on the day-to-day activities that you miss that opportunity. And what you're the impact, one of the impacts, I think, that what you're doing is to give the place, the space, the permission, and the resources for them to be able to take that step back, right? And
Absolutely.
to not only provide insight to others, but to also have a chance to take a little bit of the load off of them, right? And to share it.
Refresh themselves. Yeah, part of when we start, actually, the first 15-20 minutes is a devotional.
Yeah.
And so, we have the devotional time. We say, what does this passage mean to you? How is this, like right now, we're going to be, next week, we have our second cohort. We're going to be talking about staff leadership. So, Jesus is leader. Let's talk about what leadership looked like to him, and what does this passage mean, and how does it impact your leadership? What are the things that are jumping out at you? And they have an opportunity to write and record and share. But you're right, this is a day for us to pour into them, because it's very easy to become unbalanced. To your point, it's very easy as an ED, to focus 100% on work.
Yeah.
And if you're focusing 100% on work, then that means there's 0% for other things, including yourself, including your family, including your spiritual growth, just life.
Yeah.
And so, and that's really not the model that Jesus laid for us when it comes to leadership.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a servant leader, but he also took time to withdraw. He took time to pray. He was there to serve people, but he gave us a roadmap, and it's up to us to follow. And it's also up to us as Mission Triangle to help our nonprofit leaders see that as well.
You don't make any impact if you're burnt out, right? There's just,
correct.
It's self-defeating at that point.
Yeah.
Well, Monica, thank you so much for your time. Tell us how people can learn more about Mission Triangle.
Oh, absolutely. Please go to our website, missiontriangle.org. We have an upcoming transformational giving, our transformational fundraising workshop in April 21st, April 26th, and April 28th. All 3 dates, the content will be the same, but we try to provide a variety of times and dates to accommodate as many people as possible. And as I mentioned, all of our workshops and our small groups are at no cost to the nonprofits. So please go to our website, missiontriangle.org, and register today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love
it. And if you go, I'm sorry, I was going to say, and also if you go under the Our Team tab, my information is there. So feel free to reach out to me if you have questions.
Yeah, and everybody at Mission Triangle is amazing. So thank you all for the impact you make on the kingdom, on our community, on the nonprofits that you serve. We love you guys and are so grateful for the work that you do. Encourage nonprofits to check you out if they're interested in just doing what they do better. That's, really in the nutshell, I believe what you do is you just make nonprofits better. And,
thank you.
That's great.
Thank you for being one of our partners as well.
Well, thank you. We're grateful for that, and look forward to that. Encourage people to check out our other episodes as they come out, and you can find us at angeloakcreative.com. You can also go to nonprofitloveandimpact.com, and you'll be taken directly to that page. So thank you, Monica. Look forward to staying in touch, following you all, and for just being able to just see the impact that you're making on our community and our world. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Have a great day.